Hi everyone, I'm Dick Beardsley. Welcome to the fishing scene. Hey folks, as you can see, we're being powered today by the Beards. No outboard motor today. No, we're out in a canoe fishing a very small lake. Many small lakes all across west central and northwestern Minnesota where it's real hard sometimes, if not impossible, to get a big boat into. But if you can get yourself a canoe, you can slip onto some of these little lakes and really have some fantastic fishing. Many of these lakes are very clear, like this particular lake that we're on, so I can actually look down and with my polarized sunglasses, I can see into the water where the edge of the weed line is. And you know me, I love fishing the edge of those weed lines, and we're out here on the lake. Hopefully we'll find out where we can get into maybe some crappies or some sunfish. And what I'm going to do here is get on the edge of the weeds, and then I'm going to just start fan casting all around me. I've got my buoy with me, and if I get on some fish, I'll throw out that buoy. Now the key here, folks, is when you're in a canoe, especially like an aluminum canoe, it doesn't have any carpeting in it, anything like that, that noise that you transmit from your feet, from dropping a tackle box, dropping your oar, or your paddle, I should say, anything like that can really make a difference. So you want to really be quiet, and also make sure you always keep your life jacket on when you're fishing from a canoe. No matter how good of a swimmer you are, it's really important because they are very tippy. So I've been on this lake before, and we've always got into some pretty decent panfish out here. So that's what we're going to try for today. Oh, I just had a little bump actually. I might have to be just a little bit further out. I think I'm a little bit shallow here. And the nice thing about that is, with a canoe, is it doesn't take much of an effort, especially on a day like today where there's virtually no wind blowing. And boy, for canoeing, that's really the best type of day you want to find. There's also many little, farm ponds you can get a canoe onto, and rivers and small streams that you can't get a big boat onto, but you can get a canoe onto, and really can offer some splendid fishing. Also, the nice part about that is many of these small bodies of water very seldom get fish. Maybe in the wintertime, there's a fish, little one. Maybe in the wintertime they get fish a little bit more, but in the summertime, not very much at all. Little sunfish there. We want some bigger fish than that, hopefully. But you can get on these lakes. Some of them are on private areas where you're going to have to get permission from a landowner, but many landowners are more than happy to let you go on out, and especially with a non-motorized boat, and enjoy some of these small lakes or some of the farm ponds that are available across the area. I think I need to be out just a tad. Oh, I just missed one. That one gave it a good little thump. That felt like a sunfish. But as I was saying, many of these small lakes will have good populations of sunfish, bluegill, bass, crappies. Even some of them will have northern pike, and a few of them will even have some walleyes in them. And there's a few lakes around, small, deep lakes, that actually have rainbow trout, brown trout in them. There's a fish right there, and there's one. Not very big, but hey, you know what? Today, folks, we're not really after the big fish. We're just out here showing you that how nice it can be fishing from a canoe or a kayak, any type of non-motorized boat. A lot of people think you have to have a big rig and all kinds of fancy electronics. Well, I'm going to get the boat turned around, or the canoe turned around here. I don't have either of those today. No motor, no electronics. I'm just kind of basically using my eyes to see where the edge of those weeds are and just fan casting. And you can do the same thing. It's pretty easy to do. It's nice to have all the gadgetry, but it also is nice to get out once in a while and not have to have that stuff. I'm going to get us turned around here. Also, being in a canoe or a kayak can give you a little bit of exercise also. Okay. Be very quiet when I put my paddle down. I'm just going to start fan casting the area. See what I come up with. And canoes are relatively inexpensive. In fact, you can find a lot of them, used ones, in the want ads, and pick yourself up a canoe, and it can really be a fun family activity. There's one right there. There's a little better one. Come here, buddy. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice big bluegill. Wow, huh? How about that one, folks? That's a dandy. Yeah. All right. Get her. One thing too, fishing in a canoe, boy, talk about being right on the water. You are right on the edge of the water. Now again, oh, there's one. That one might be a crop. I casted that one out into a little bit deeper water. No, another nice gill. All right. I cast that one out into a little bit deeper water. I'm not using anything fancy, no live bait even. Now I'm going to fan cast to a different spot. See if that makes a difference here. I'm just casting them out, letting them sink a little bit, and then slowly reeling. I'll be back with more of the fishing scene after this. Our conditions for today, we've got clear blue skies, wind virtually calm, just a little bit of a slight breeze blowing. Water temperature is, I'm not really sure, let's see. I'd say in the upper 60s. Again, I don't have my depth locator to tell me the surface temperature, and air temperature is right around 65. We're out here in the morning around 8 o'clock in the morning. Just a great day to be outside. Now obviously if you get a high wind blowing, you sure don't want to be out in a canoe during those periods of time, but your best times to be out, there's one, are in the morning like this, or again in the evenings. Most of the time that's when the wind goes down. There we go. Another nice bluegill. What we're using, folks, is just a very small Lindy little nipper jig, and I've got a small plastic little tail on there with these little green legs, and then a small split shot up about 18 inches from the jig. And I'm just casting out. I'm going to actually push this back out. I'm just casting out and letting that jig fall and just retrieving very, very slowly. And there's just enough of a breeze that it wants to blow us back a little bit in towards shore. And what I'd like to do is try to find out where the crappies are. Now I'm getting the bluegills and the sunfish, so that normally means that I'm in a little bit too close. That means I'm right up in the weeds yet, where those crappies in the summertime, most of the time, will spend a little bit of their time out in deeper water. So I'm going to paddle us out a little bit into some deeper water where I can get out where I can't see any weeds anymore, and then I'll continue to fan cast the area and just move around a little bit. Now if you got, you know, two people in the canoe, it makes it a little bit easier. One person can be kind of paddling or holding the boat while the other person fishes, and you can take turns doing that, or you can both fish also. Okay, I'm out here a little bit deeper now. So I'm going to, let's see, try going that way a little bit. Again, I'm just casting it out, letting it sink. I'm just retrieving it real slow. Kind of pausing it every once in a while. There's one. Whoops, look at that. How about that, folks? Oh, nice gill. I had my jig hanging over down in the water a little bit, paddling out to deeper water. Look at that one, huh? Not bad. I mean, folks, we're on a little lake that you rarely see boats on or canoes. And these little lakes like this are gold mines. I'm telling you, many of them are just full of fish, just like that, and bigger. Okay, now I cast out into deeper water here. I mean, I love catching sunfish and bluegills, but it's fun to see if you can get yourself on a few crappies too. And these are the kind of lakes too that if you're out here by yourself, want to do a little trolling, hey, throw on a daredevil and just start canoeing around the edge of the shoreline or on the outside edge of the weeds, and you'd be surprised what you might catch. There's a crappie. Not a very big one, but crappie. They're out in the deeper water, folks. They're out in the deeper water. And the key here is, especially with the small jig, if you don't work it slow, you're going to be coming out of the water column too quickly. Oh, I just had a little bump. And you won't be in that fish zone. Oh, I just missed another one. There's one, little guy. Oh, little guy. But as you can see, even with a lot of electronics, hey, we're still having a good time. We're catching fish. We're catching fish almost every cast. Okay, I'm getting in a little bit closer to shore. So I'm going to paddle back out. I want to find these crappies. I might go over to the other side of the lake here. See if I can. And again, the nice thing is many of these small lakes are, they're small enough you can actually canoe around the entire lake in a very short period of time. So you can cover a lot of area and just have a beautiful day out here. Boy, the nice thing too, without having an outboard going, even though my Yamaha 4-stroke is very, very quiet, you're kind of in touch with Mother Nature. You can hear the birds. Blackbirds I can hear now. Some of the chickadees. I can hear crows off in the distance. Pretty nice, folks. Pretty darn nice. We're at Midsummer here, folks, and that's why we're finding these bigger fish out in deeper water. Now, if it was early in the spring, you'd be finding these fish the bigger fish, more tucked up next to the edge of the weeds with the fish where the water's a little bit warmer. And these are some nice gills we're catching here, nice and thick. Like a good meal. Oh, there's one. Oh man, look at that pumpkin seed. Oh, what a dandy, huh, folks? Pretty fish out here on a little lake. Oops, you got my twister tail. That's what I'm using as a twister tail, so I'm gonna put another one back on there. Ooh, there's a nice fish there. Feels like a crop. Oh, yeah, nice crop. Oh, folks, look at this baby. Huh? Look at that, folks. Nice crappie on a little lake, but the best way to fish it is in a canoe. Beautiful fish. Oh man. There we go. Oh, little guy. Right by the boat. There we go. Oh, there's a nicer fish. Oh, not that much nicer, but a nice gill. There we go. Folks, the key is when you're using these small jigs, real lightweight, is when you cast them out, when it hits that water, click your bail and then just let her sit there for a little bit and then just slowly start to reel. Because if you reel too fast, you're going to bring it up out of the zone. There's one right there. How about that? Oh, that doesn't feel too bad. It's nice and easy. A nice sunfish. It's real simple, basic fishing, folks. If you can cast, you can do this type of fishing. Again, cast it out. Once it hits the water, click your bail. Let it sit for a count of maybe 5, and then just slowly, slowly start to retrieve. And you can do a steady retrieve. You can let it sit for a little bit. Steady retrieve. Again, remember that small jig along with that plastic tail on there really makes it fairly buoyant. So you want to, you're just kind of fluttering through the water down there. There's, oh, I just missed him. Remember to do a little fan casting, folks. Especially when you're out here without a locator on. You know, you got, there's one right there. If you, that might be a crop, the way it, yep, little crop. All right, how about that? Boy, he inhaled that little jig too. There we go, get her back in the water. So again, we're fan casting. You can cover a large area. And if you get onto a school of fish, like crappies that you want to make sure that you can stay on, just throw out a buoy. Or line yourself up with a tree or something on the shore. So you kind of know where to cast back to. Oh, just missed him again. You won't feel usually a big bite. You'll feel just a little tug like that. Oh, man. Oh, look at that. Folks, did you see that? A northern pike came up and was chasing this sunfish. How about that, huh? It wasn't a real big pike, but he came after it. Nice fish. Hey, look at that, folks. Huh? Nice crappie. Yeah, it's, I'll tell you what, a lot of fun. So we've got bluegills, sunfish, crappies. We've had northern pike follow us through. Hey, folks, let me tell you, don't think you have to get out on a big body of water with a big boat to be having lots of fun and catching lots of fish. Like I said earlier in the show, there's lots of small farm ponds, lots of small lakes, right next to the road or back in the woods. You find them, get a canoe, and have a great time, and I promise you, you'll catch plenty of fish. I'm Dick Beardsley. Thanks for joining me today on the Fishing Scene, and please remember to practice selective harvesting. By doing so, we'll continue to have great fishing for years to come. I'll see you out here on the water.